there guys, this is Malorian and this will be a Warcaster review, and I thought in honor of Lord Tremendous, he is a guy new from Fantasy that's coming over and doing War Machine battle reports, and it seems like his favorite caster is Commander Adept Nemo. So I thought, let's do him. So Commander Adept Nemo, he is the first iteration of Nemo. He's been along for a long time, and he's one of these ones that is typically more maligned. A lot of people don't like it, and for most biggest reason why people stay away from Nemo is they say old man stats. But either way, what we're going to be covering in this video here is we're going to be talking about what his stats are, what his abilities are, what are some tricks and tips to using him, and what's some of the models and builds he likes to really take. So let's start with Commander Adept Nemo, and he has Focus 7, which is definitely solid, and it doesn't end there, but we'll get there that in a second. He's Speed 5, which is alright, Strength 5, Mat 5, Rat 5, but again, you know, most of the time you're not going to use this guy in melee. Sometimes he uses a gun, but yeah, we'll get to that. Defense 14 and Armor 14. Now normally, for those who don't know this about casters, when you add the defense and armor together, usually for Warcasters the average is 30. So now you know if you're below or above that, where you're kind of falling in compared to the average, and he's one below for both. So, and he also only has 15 hitboxes, so he does not like being hit by things. Command 8 normally doesn't come in. He's immune to lightning. Now, he has this lightning rod. That's his melee weapon. It's magical, has reach, has power 12, so, ooh boy. It also has disruption. So, I mean, really, again, if he's in range to hit something with reach and it's a jack, he probably shouldn't be there. But, hey, you know, it's something he has. Why not? He also has a gun that is actually fairly powerful. It is his Ball Lightning. It is range 10, AoE 3, and it's also power 14. It's also a magic attack. So this is one spot where it could come up. If you're seeing a bunch of incorporeal, sure, let's use this. Now, it also has disruption, so a very nice ability to have. The problem is that range 10, and again, if you're in a spot where you can be doing this shot to a jack, you're putting yourself in danger. Of course, if you disrupt it, then it can't be allocated focus, it can't charge you, so maybe you're safe, and this is a totally safe play, but you're playing with fire. So even though he has this gun, I would strongly recommend that this guy just stays back. Nemo likes to stay back in the board and kind of let his force do all the work for him. Now, with his other abilities, he has Arcane Accumulator. And what this does here is that when another model casts a spell in this model's control area, this model gains 1 power token, up to a maximum of 3. During your control phase, after this model replenishes its focus, but before it allocates focus, replace each power token with 1 focus token. Now, you could use this thinking that your opponent will trigger it. You can add in Squire so his control area is even further, 16 inches rather than 14, and whenever your opponent casts spells, hooray, I get better. But you can trigger this off yourself. And some of the typical ways you might do this is say off a junior. If you have your junior Warcaster and he's doing Arcane Shield, hey, that's great. That gives him a power token for later. Another one might be Ayanna and Holt, and they could be doing Ayanna's different spells. That could give you another one. However, the one that works absolutely the best for a couple of reasons are the Arcanist, Tactical Arcanist Core. These are the 3 dwarves, come from the Mercs, and what they can do is they can do a couple of spells, they can be shooting fireballs, but normally they like making clouds. And what will happen then is that these 3 guys will go in front of Nemo and make 3 clouds around in a little semicircle type thing so that nobody can draw a line of sight to Nemo. This is fantastic because it keeps him alive, and it also completely just fills him up with power tokens so that after this turn he'll be focus 10, and that's a really big deal. Being focus 10 is just amazing. That's, I mean, we're looking at like the top that we get there from, you know, Harbinger and stuff like this. I guess now Haley 3 is past this, but man, focus 10 goes a really long way. Now, other rules he has is overpower. During your control phase, after this model replenishes its focus before it allocates focus, this model can spend 1 focus to increase its control area for 1 round at 1 focus point for each inch increase. This one really doesn't come up. In Nemo 3 it's a bigger deal, but in Nemo 1 it's not really a thing he has to really worry about. Here's the biggest example where it might matter. One of your jacks get out of range so you can't allocate focus. Maybe you got thrown there, maybe you got slammed, maybe you got TK'd, whatever it is, this jack is now out of his control. Well, he can use some of his focus to extend his control area, and then he can be allocating focus to it. That is probably going to be the #1 time this is being used, but hey, you know, if it ever comes up, it turns out, hey, I got something for this. Now comes a way better rule. Supercharge. This is a great rule for him to have. During your control phase, this model can allocate up to 5 focus points to 1 warjack in his battle group that is in its control area. And that, guys, that's massive. Normally warjacks can only be allocated 3 focus. Maybe if it's a bonded jack, you can get 4. But with 5 focus, you can get out tons of work from your jacks. And with this, I guess later on we talk about more of the units you want to take with them. I mean, clearly it's jacks. These jacks can get a lot of work done, and whether it is a 5 focus storm wall, a 5 focus dynamo, a 5 focus thunderhead, really every jack pretty much, especially the combat ones, love to have 5 focus. So really great ability. And I mean, normally that'd be like, oh man, 5 focus, that's like my whole stack. With this guy, that's only half a stack anyway. So sure, why not? Let's give 5 focus to whatever combat jack we want to kill everything. Now, he has a lot of spells, which is also great. First one is Chain Lightning. It's a cost 3, range 10, POW 10, offensive spell. And really what happens is that the model that's hit by this takes a POW 10 electrical damage, and then it arcs to D6 models up to 4 inches. So you just go like closest within 4, then closest within 4. So this is good for a couple of reasons. One is because it's clearly anti-infantry. If there's lots of infantry coming at you, you do Chain Lightning, this thing bounces around, and you kill a bunch of guys, and yay, all that infantry's gone. The other thing is it adds a little bit of geometry to your casting, because you know exactly where it's going to bounce. You know that if I hit this model here, the next closest model could be this one here, the next closest one is here. And you can start lining these up saying, this critical solo is hiding here. What guy do I have to hit to try and get this path working? And it can be a very scary thing. Of course, there is randomness to this. I mean, you could get 1 bounce, you might get 6. But, I mean, usually if you look for something that's going to get 3 bounces, you're playing pretty safe. And, I mean, right there, you're hitting 4 models, and you can end this up getting to something very critical. Something else, of course, is very nice for this too, is going for a jack or something. So you hit the jack, so it's a very easy target to hit, and then, hey, it's going to bounce around all over the place. And it's going to hit like maybe you're going to hit the jack, and it's going to bounce to the support staff behind, and that's fantastic. Now, again, Nemo does not want to get that close, so sometimes, sure, if they're all over you, he can be in there, he can be casting that. However, other times he might want to have an arc node, so you might want to think about having either a Lancer or, you know, Thorn. I don't know if I'd really take with him, but if nothing else, maybe the new Hurricane, the new Colossal as arc node, could be an okay thing to take with him, especially since you can have a 5 focus Hurricane. His next spell is Deflection. This one costs 2. It is self, and really says everything in his control area. And this is where maybe again he might use that overpower, but probably not. Here's a rule. While in this model's control area, friendly faction warrior models gain +2 armor against range and magical damage rolls. Deflection lasts for 1 round. So it's clearly nice, right? You're getting +2 armor. If you are running some infantry yourself, be them storm blades, whatever, they don't like being shot down. So hey, deflection is great, having this extra armor. Now, again, he is already control area 14 with a squire at 16. That really should encompass all your army, and I mean, really, when things are really getting past that point, they're probably in combat. So again, even though it looks like, oh, this is something I can extend with overpower, I have never found this to be a real need. I mean, I suppose if Nemo's playing like way back, he's on the back board edge because you're worried that Lilith 2 is going to shoot you down or something, and you really need to extend to get out to all these guys. Okay, I guess, but I have never found this to actually come up in an actual game. Next spell is going to be Disruption Field, and this one's a pretty nice one to have. Cost 2, range 6. This one is upkeepable. Target friendly warjack gains +2 strength, and its melee weapons gain disruption. So, if nothing else, +2 strength is great. Getting any sort of damage increase, especially when you're dealing with a jack, is fantastic. And whenever you're playing against War Machine, having disruption on him as well is even better, because this is a thing where, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to send my jack after your jack with +2 strength. I'm probably going to mess you up, but if I fail, no big deal. You're disrupted and you can't get any focus now. So hooray! Another point where this can come up is, especially if you have a reach jack, you can go after multiple jacks. So you're like stab, stab, stab. Okay, 2 attacks left. You're disrupted and damaged. You're disrupted and damaged, and what are you going to do about it now? Because you can't allocate. This guy's like either dead or almost really messed up, and these guys are disrupted. So you can pass that around. You can always put this on a lighter jack as well, right? Put this on some little light jack, it walks up, ding, and disrupts something, and you can be dealing with other factors. So the only part that I would maybe not be looking to this disruption is that we're playing Signar here, guys. We have Stormcallers, we haven't got to his feet, and if you really need that disruption, you have other ways to do it. So if nothing else, I'd be really looking at this as saying, hey, it's +2 strength, and that's amazing. Next one is Electrify. This one sounds good, but usually people find ways around it. And this one here is, again, cost 2, it's another upkeep, and is if target friendly model is hit by a melee attack. After the attack is resolved, the attacker is pushed D3 inches directly away from the affected model and suffers an unboostable POW 14 electrical damage roll. So this is how you believe it's going to work. Their jack is going to go after your jack. They're going to hit you, do some damage, and then boom, you're going to hit them with the POW 14, send them back, and then pretty much, I mean, unless they have reach and you only went 2 inches, they're touching, they're gone. And their jack's going to destroy your jack. It is over. Well, the thing is that when you're playing against competent opponents, they're going to come in here and just hit you with something else first, charge with some infantry model and be like, oh no, I'm dead. And then, okay, fine, then the heavy goes in. But hey, this one here is that one that's a bigger deal later on in the game, especially on your jacks, where all of a sudden they don't have those infantry models anymore to really go in there and throw it off. So again, if early game, this is almost a trap where you throw it on your jack, the jack runs up, you're like, I'm invincible, and then some little choir or some little crappy model goes ding, takes away your Electrify, and then the heavies come in or whatever, and you're scrapped. So do be careful with that one. Sorry for all the dinging here. Now, this one here is target friendly model, so again, this doesn't even need to be a jack. You could put this on something else. Early game, what this could be good on is just some random Joe, right? You're trying to run up there and you're trying to bog them down, and so you just cast this on some random Sword Knight or some random Pressganger, because it's not even friendly faction, it's just friendly model. And then if they ever want to hit that guy, which they probably want to do because they're going to clear the chaff, boom, and they're going to take this big hit, and it's kind of almost like the primed or whatever they give Durgan. Hey, if you want to kill me, you die too, unless of course you get shot, because it's only a melee attack. We're still going here, folks. He has 2 more spells. Next one is Locomotion, and this one can again be a very big spell for him. This one costs up to 3, which range, well, okay, it says range 6, but you can move to where you need to go. And this one here is, this model spends up to 3 focus to cast Locomotion. Target Warjack in this model's battle group immediately advances up to 1 inch for each focus point spent. A Warjack can be targeted by Locomotion once per turn. Now, this one really gets you a lot of extra threat for your jacks. And again, this is where he makes him a very good jack caster. Getting an extra inch or two of threat is normally really good. Getting an extra 3 inches of threat, that's amazing. That's huge, especially when this jack can also be having 5 focus. So you take whatever jack you really need to get the work done, you locomotion him up, he charges in with his 5 focus, and he just devastates things. So again, this is really showing how not only does Nemo like jacks in general, but he likes to really overpower one jack. He'll say, hey Jack, guess what? All of a sudden, you have 5 focus. I'm going to add 2 strength to you. I'm going to move you up 3 inches. And hey, go get him, buddy. And so this is a thing, again, where you might not just want to take one jack. You probably want to take multiples, be it 2 or even 3. And it's really, okay, buddy, your turn. Go. Boom. Okay, you smash things. You're probably going to do whatever. All right, now that we've cleared things and I'm ahead on attrition, all right, we're going to wait for the next heavy. Charge you up. Go. And it can be extremely, extremely deadly. And if nothing else, if you're not going and knocking out heavies and getting the alpha, this can very easily also be the assassination. Last spell is a hilarious spell, and I'm just waiting for guys like Lord Tremendous to use this one because it is so fun. It is called Voltaic Snare. It is cost 3, so a little bit more expensive, but hey, you can have 10 focus or 11 with Squire. Range 8, and this one here is an offensive spell that you do against a target warjack. And then this one here cannot advance, suffers 4 defense. So I mean, a jack normally is low defense anyway, so the -4 defense is like, okay, sure. A warjack beginning an advance within 3 inches of the model hit cannot run or charge and can advance only directly towards it. Voltaic Snare lasts for 1 round. And it can only be cast once per round. So that's something there. But yeah. Basically what this means is that if there's one jack that you don't want to move, and this could be even a colossal, you cast this at it and you go, bing, I hit you, you can't move now. And sure, you get -4 defense and stuff like this too, but the fact you're just saying a jack cannot move can be enormous. This could be either setting you up for the alpha so you can hit it first. This could be more defensive, so like, oh no, this thing's going to charge me and do a lot of damage. You're going to stay the hell over there. Or it can even be a thing too where like, you know what, he's about to get into the zone and I can't let him to block this zone for scenario, so I'm going to trap him there. And then we come to that second part, that any other jack that's within 3 inches has to go directly towards him. So do keep in mind, this doesn't say, you know, enemy or anything like this. If you get your guys too close, you'll also get sucked to there. But man, if you see like a colossal and it has 2 little support jacks on either side, you hit the colossal with this, and it and the guys beside it can't go anywhere. They're just stuck. You can completely shut down an entire army. If you're playing against like something that's like double Stormwall or something like this, double Colossal, oh wow, this is massive. Now, this can also be a trap because it's only range 8, and if you don't have an arc node, Nemo goes, ha ha ha, you can't move, and then they just aim and shoot you. So do be careful for that because bad things do happen, but if you do have an arc node or if it's a combat jack with no gun, this can be a real trolling thing to do. So we're now through all the magic, and now we're going to be getting onto his feat. And this is a feat that's kind of meh, but at other times is very good. So, okay, well, let's get to it. Enemy warjacks and war beasts currently in Nemo's controller area suffer a POW 14 electrical damage roll. Warjacks damaged by electrical storm suffer disruption. So, sure, it's a little bit of damage. Normally, jacks are bigger, higher armor. There's always the hilarious thing if you're up against Agrosh 2 and all the shredders. You're like, boom, damages to all of you, and it's awesome. But normally, it's just going to do a few plinking points here and there. This could be a thing where it's like, okay, my heavy goes in or my troops go in, and I just barely left this jack alive. Well, okay, I'm just going to pop feet and kill you off this way. Now, this one does not say unboostable, so you could also boost this as well, which makes it, I mean, effectively like a POW 17.5, which is pretty respectable. But, yeah, I mean, normally what I see this one used for is either trying to finish off that beast or that warjack where you just need that little bit more extra damage, or we talked about disruption before when we were talking about disruption field. Well, here it is on a stick. You don't need to worry about hitting, because if you're in my control area, it automatically happens. Here's another thing where it's like, well, I don't need to damage you. If I just hit you, you're disrupted. And so this can be a massive thing against War Machine, where they don't expect this coming, and they're like, oh, okay, you took a feat, and I got a little bit of damage, whatever. No. Now you can't allocate focus to these guys either. Now, this is a spot where it's saying currently in his control area. So when we talked about overpower before, where you can extend your control area, this could be a respectable time to do this. If Nemo wants to stay back, or if he wants to try and capture as many jacks as possible, this could be a time to do it. Again, though, I don't normally find this coming up. Usually if you are needing to do this to a jack, it's because they're very close to you, and, well, at least within, advance or charge up and then control area range. So I don't find you normally need this, but hey, it could work out that you just need a couple of extra inches, and here you go. Maybe you're up against the Kriya's gun line and you want to charge up and you want to go and, try and reach out and disrupt all of his jacks. Hopefully then get a cloud wall or something to protect yourself. But I can see sometimes where you'd want to do it, but again, it'd be extremely, extremely rare. Normally his focus can go to a lot better spots than adjusting his control area. So that being said, what's some of the tricks and tips you can do with him? Well, we already talked about the idea about how you're going to be really charging up one jack and sending it out, but there's a couple of really good choices for that. The first one is Thunderhead. Now, Thunderhead has a pulse where he hits everything around him, and then he can be buying shots against them. And because it's sustained attack and pulse automatically hits, these shots are automatically hitting these guys as well. Well, what you do is with Locomotion, that really gets up that threat range, then he gets the pulse, and with 5 focus, he's going to buy all these shots and boosting damage. Not only is this really good for wiping out infantry and shooting down heavies could be, again, possibly, but it's also very massive for taking out casters and doing the caster kill. If you have some caster that says, hey, I'm safe because I'm defense 17 and I'm behind a wall, so I'm defense 21 and blah, 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 blah. No, I just pulsed and I automatically hit you. You're going to take some big damage, and then because I hit you with pulse, now with my 5 focus, I'm just going to keep on shooting you and boosting damage. So that can be a very big spot there where normally the Thunderhead can be staying back and pulsing to kill some minor things, and then when you have an opening, boom, he gets it there and he can pulse and he can kill the caster just like that. Another one is Dynamo. Dynamo is a new character jack. Of course, with Nemo, he gets to reroll the hit, and whenever he hits, he gets to keep shooting up to a max of 4 times, and it gets stronger each time. And that also goes for melee. And normally, you just have your normal attacks you can do with 3 focus, but with 5 focus, not only is it a thing where, hey, I can make 2 more attacks than normal, but in the case of Dynamo, it gets even stronger and stronger and stronger. And so the whole idea of sending in Dynamo as a killer like that can be huge. He can normally stay back, and you can maybe put Electrify on him if you want to be a little bit safe. And he can be shooting things down with his gun. And then we have that opening. Hey, 5 focus, Locomotion up, he charges up and has reach, and he can really get a lot of work done. So, yeah, another very dangerous threat. I also said that things like the Thunderhead are very good with him. Arc Nodes, or not the Thunderhead, the Storm Wall, because, 5 focus, he's going to kill the world. But with that as well, he will still need some troops with him. It is kind of a trap to say, like, I'm just going to go all jacks. And even though he can handle jacks, unless you have all the pieces you need, you're going to find that your jacks are going to get overwhelmed. So you're still going to want things like gun mages to clear things out, maybe the Black 13th. I don't really think his tier is a way to go, especially since he doesn't have a lot of good ways to get those power tokens. You really want to build on those power tokens. We talked about how you want the Tactical Arcanist Core in there for sure, but Normally in a list, when I make Nemo, is going to have 2 to 3 jacks. It's really set up to be a little bit more standoffish at first, and I'm going to be trying to shoot you down, will you up, try and do some chain lightnings, and then once things are starting to clear up, bam, you can superpower those jacks, send them in, knock out their jacks on the alpha, or just go in for the assassination. So there you go, there's Nemo. Again, he's not normally seen in tournaments. He's not like, oh, he's a super power caster, but he definitely has some serious business and some good tricks when used right. So there you go, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.